Have you ever seen those big, huge planters at commercial buildings in front of restaurants and that? Beautiful with flowers in the summer, and wondered, I wish I could make one of those. Well, you can. It's easy. And today I'm going to show you how to do that. I'll walk you through the whole process step by step. If you're new to my channel, Mindy Over 50, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I create videos about makeup, beauty, skincare, and lifestyle, all tailored for the over 50 woman. But for me, beauty includes my passion for flowers and flower gardening. So today we're going to be doing a container garden that looks something like this. So if you're interested, stay tuned.
Fine lines, wrinkles, that's all, yeah, this is all good.
Okay, we'll start with the basics, and let me first preface this by saying that I live in Indiana, northern Indiana, near Chicago, and we have brutal winters. So just keep that in mind as I'm going through here. I'll give you the timestamps. They'll be in the description box below in case you want to go to a specific part of the video. First, we're going to talk about the pot. This is kind of a big pot. It is not solid, it is not heavy. It's made out of probably like resin. It's very light. You do not have to fill the entire thing with soil. In fact, it's better that you don't. Halfway down, I have used broken up old pots. I've used gravel, stone. I've even put some styrofoam in there. It's all okay because you want it to have good drainage. And I put my pot on one of these paving stones so that, again, you can make sure that the water's draining out of the bottom. Also, I want to let you know I have two of these pots. So I might be switching from one to the other. This pot right here gets less sun. So you can see it. And this pot over here is in full sun. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. This one is clearly way bigger and everything else. Next, we're going to talk about soil. You should use a potting soil mix everywhere at the garden centers or whatever. Sometimes I like to use the potting soil that has Miracle-Gro fertilizer already in it. That gives your plants a really good start. Next, we are going to talk about the plants. Things like, should I buy something for sun, for part shade? You need to just decide whether your area is going to get like 6 or more hours of sun per day. Then you would be able to put a plant there that is good with full sun. If you have less than 6 hours of sun during the day, well, that's considered sun or part sun, you would be looking at plants that fit that description. Now you can see the difference between the two. Like I said, this plant here receives less sun. So the plants in here that benefit from that are these right here. They're called caladiums. They like part sun, so they flourish over here. The rest, the canna lily, the begonia right here, the Gerber daisy right here, and the rest of these little things, petunias, spider plants, wandering Jew, those things all like sun. Now we're going to take a look over here and look at this one. Since this one gets a lot more sun, the caladiums are not doing as well here. They're growing, but just not like the others. But look at the begonias. They've gone crazy. So you can see, when you plant a plant that likes where it's sitting, it's going to benefit. Whew. I can finally get in some shade here. It's a very warm day here. It is in the 80s, close to 90. Very sunny, very warm. So the next thing we're going to talk about is annuals versus perennials. Annuals bloom all summer. In the winter, the roots of the plant die, and so the plant dies, and you have to replant it again next year. With perennials, perennials bloom specific times of the year. You know, early spring, May, June, August. It'll tell you on the plant when the bloom time is. The nice thing about that is that the roots don't die off. They stay alive in the ground. The tops die off, but the roots are still there, which means that plant is going to come back again next year. The one thing you might need to know, though, is if you have a perennial and it is in a pot, sometimes where that pot is sitting, if it's really cold, unless you protect that pot, the wind and cold may get to those perennials' roots and sometimes they die. So that's one thing to take into consideration. You can buy your plants locally. I just like to go to like the Home Depot. That's where I go every year, and they have a great selection. Anything they have there obviously is going to grow in your vicinity. And you should probably wait to plant those plants until the fear of frost is over. In our area, it's usually like May 31st, Memorial Day. I planted these pots that you've seen here the first week of June of this year. Okay, now I'm sure you want to know which plants are the best ones to plant in a container garden. Well, the general rule here, there's a little mnemonic that you can use, and it is thriller, filler, and spiller. For it to look attractive, you should always have something really tall and bold. In this case, this is my canna lily. That's my thriller. And then the plants in the middle here are the begonia, the Gerber daisy. Right now it doesn't have any blooms. And I stuck a petunia in there. Also the caladiums. They would be considered a filler plant. They just fill it out and make it look really nice and full. And then the spiller is something that is going to fill up the front and spill over the side. Those are going to be our ground covers. So if you follow that rule, you should have no problem making a really pretty container. Okay, now we are going to cover the maintenance part of it. Obviously, you want to water, especially if it's really hot like it is here, 80s, 90s. Sometimes I have to water twice a day, morning and night. So you need to water early enough in the day that the leaves have time for the water to evaporate off of them. Otherwise, if you water too late in the day and the water sits on the leaves overnight, sometimes it can attract mildew, which is going to kill your plants. So you want to water a lot. You want to basically fertilize annuals once a week in the summer if you want really big, beautiful blooms. My plants did really well this year, and I have hardly fertilized at all because we did get a ton of water this year, so they're doing great. The other thing is you want to deadhead any plants. Now, I will say the ones that you saw here in my containers, I've neglected deadheading them. The petunias need to be deadheaded a lot. The Gerber daisies need to be deadheaded. The thing about deadheading is when a plant is, it's either blooming or it's making a seed, okay? So if you let it go to seed, you don't pick off the dead blooms, it's gonna keep trying to make seeds. If you pick those dead blooms off, it will keep blooming. So that's one thing you need to know about annuals. Also, also a good thing to do would be in the fall to clean up after it frosts and everything starts to die down. Get all your big stuff out of there. Now I will say that this last year I didn't take everything out of my pots. I left some of that yellow creeper in there, and would you believe it survived over the winter, because in the spring it's all here beautiful hanging over my pots, and I was excited about that. Sometimes that happens, but basically the more you can clean up in the fall makes it easier in the spring. And so you just want to clean out the pot, take everything out, rough up the soil. Sometimes you have to add a little bit more soil, and then you can reuse your soil. Okay, that was one of the questions that people always ask me. Can I reuse the soil? Yes, you can. So if you have any questions today about anything we went over, please leave a message in the comments section. I'll be happy to answer those for you. If you got something out of today's video, press that like button. And also, I do have some more garden type videos that I'll be posting pretty soon. So don't forget to hit that little notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload my next video. And of course, I'd love to have you come along for the ride, so please consider subscribing. Have a great day and a great rest of the summer.